Just here recently, one of my subscribers contacted me and to let me know that they bought a brand new home about 6 months ago and the foundation underneath it is crumbling beneath them. They have already had a structural engineer out there and it looks like they're going to have to move out of the house in order for them to be able to get it repaired. These are nightmare stories that have been going on around the country. And I predict we're going to be hearing a lot more stories like this as we head into 2022. So what is going on with new home builds right now? Well, today we're going to be taking a closer look at it. And I'm going to be showing you exactly what has been going on with new home builders and what you need to be aware of if you decide to build a brand new house.
Emily, we are at a brand new $500,000 construction home doing the inspection. You all are gonna get a kick out of this. So this spigot isn't even secured. And look at how they mounted the dryer exhaust. Like you could literally reach in all the way. This is just bad.
So here in Louisiana, we have something called the New Home Warranty Act. And that just basically says if you buy a brand new house, you get like a bumper to bumper warranty on the house for 1 year. So anything that's wrong with the house, you can contact the builder and they are supposed to come back out and fix those things. That new build warranty isn't just for that 1 year. It also covers the foundation, it covers your windows, it covers your framing, it covers your roof, but it all has different time frames. Most states have some version of a New Home Warranty Act, but some people recently haven't been getting that new home warranty covered like they're supposed to, just like in this article. This is in Ocoee, Florida, and there's a brand new subdivision that has just popped up and they're having these issues. It says the local home builders association claims that dozens of homes have serious drainage defects, but the builder has not fixed the flooding problem. Larry Newton said the yard on one side of the Ocoee homes floods when it rains and water even reaches his sliding glass doors. He bought his home only 3 years ago. If we have a heavy rain, there's water inside the house. Newton claims the drainage defect the builder is responsible for fixing as part of its new home warranty. Now, this is the super interesting part. 3 years ago, the company settled with the Florida Attorney General following the investigation into the construction defects. The multi-million-dollar settlement required Pluitt to resolve claims with thousands of homeowners who had serious stucco defects. So this is one of those things, buyer beware. Always investigate your builder. This year, Pluitt's Homes told Better Business Bureau it was creating a customer care program to resolve a serious pattern of complaints involving warranty and repairs. So even though you're under these new home warranty acts and they're supposed to be protecting you as a new home owner, that doesn't necessarily that the builder is going to abide by them. The only recourse that you have is to file a lawsuit and to file with the Better Business Bureau. You can also file a claim with your Attorney General. Just make sure if you have any of these problems with your brand new home, you document everything. Take tons of pictures, take short videos. The more documentation that you have, the better case you're going to have. Now, when it relates to water, we have a lot of water here in Louisiana. You're really going to have to prove the fact that it isn't because of natural causes. Like around here, we're under sea level. So that's really difficult for people to say it's because of the home builders. We've had these issues come up and it always seems like the homeowners have to foot the bill for the cost of any kind of flooding issues. That's why it's always important to have flood insurance. Even in a place like Florida where you wouldn't think that the flooding would be that bad. I used to live in Central Florida, not too far from here, and I wouldn't have thought that that would be an issue, a flooding issue. But if it's not graded, the yards are not graded correctly, you can have water in your house just like that.
In this room, and I noticed that the floor is all wet in here. And then I looked, and you can see the paint is bubbling all along this header.
Now, it's no secret. Throughout the United States, there's been a supply chain issue. They've had a problem with people showing up on site. They've had a problem with contractors. There's been tons of delays when it comes to new home construction. This has caused a humongous problem throughout the United States. It isn't just in Texas like this article. We are way behind. Central Texas home builders face supply chain delays, rising costs, and obtaining materials. A housing boom and material shortage, both described as a current situation many home builders find themselves in, with many needing supplies for homes currently in the short supply due to issues with global supply chain. Both large and small Central Texas builders are trying to make do with what they have. And when they are trying to make do with what they have, sometimes, in some cases, they're cutting corners. With the case of my subscriber that I brought up to you earlier, it seems that when they poured the cement slab, it appears to them currently that they added too much of a sand product that's causing the foundation to crumble. There should have been a safety net at the beginning, right when that foundation was poured, and it should have been caught, and it wasn't. By the time that they had purchased the house, it wasn't evident because the framing was up and everything else. And it just took a little bit of time and a few rains for that foundation to start crumbling. I've heard other things happen as well, just like in this TikTok video. Every national chain builder in every state is going to be different. So if you bought a home from a national chain in one state, does not mean it's going to be the same in the next state. So just know that. Another thing is, if you are investigating a home builder in your area, it's really good to kind of check with the neighbors. See if they've had any issues with their home since they've moved in. People are more than willing to tell you their gripes and complaints if the builder hasn't been doing what they're supposed to do since they've moved into the house. So with these supply chain issues and delays, there's been another thing that has popped up that was a big giant surprise to me in 2021. It was something that was commonly done in California, and when I heard it for the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? But when you negotiated a price for this specific home, let's just say it's $350,000. By the time it got to the closing table, they would say, well, we can't close on this because now you owe us an additional $100,000 on this home because it took us so long to get it done. Because time is money, it costs the home builder more. So they put that back onto the home buyer, even though they had negotiated a price and it was a contracted price. In new home construction contracts, with the way that they are designed, the home builder can demand more money, or he'll just go ahead and put it back on the market because there's tons of other people willing to purchase it. In some cases, it has been a little bit more nefarious. They know that the person is either A, can't come up with the money, and B, they don't really care because the next person can purchase it for that amount of money. In other cases, yes, that cost that builder that much more. So you as a home buyer has to decide, is it worth it to you to want to pay that extra $100,000 just to get into a brand new house? So while you're renegotiating your contract for the additional $100,000, new paperwork has to be drawn up because your lender has to know exactly how much you're purchasing the house for. And if you get an appraisal and it doesn't appraise for the extra $100,000, that's coming out of your pocket. So that's something to consider if you're thinking about building a brand new house in 2022. But here's another thing you need to consider if you are in that renegotiation stage and they're telling you have to pay more money in order to purchase this house. If you say no and walk away, you are jeopardizing the fact that you're going to have to get another house, and you know there's a limited supply of homes on the market. And the other thing is the interest rates are set to go up, and they're going to be going up incrementally throughout this year. The Fed had said that they were going to do 3 rate hikes, but as you know, interest rates on homes, they always fluctuate and go up and down. One day it could be 3.7 and the next day it's 3.85. You're going to really have to be careful, especially if you locked in an interest rate. Here's what happened to one family. Jeremy Starnock signed a fixed price contract for a new home build in December. He thought the deal was safely locked in, but it didn't work out that way. He and his partner bought a 3-bedroom townhouse for $699,000. But last month, the developer, F&P Dream Homes, told them that they wouldn't be able to deliver their home by the original settlement date of December 20th. They were advised that the settlement date would now be October of next year. And for the sale to continue, they would have to agree on the price increase of $150,000. And that is the story that's happening across the United States. This is one of those times you're really going to have to hire a very good, proficient real estate agent that understands builder contracts and how to protect you as a buyer so they can seal up those loopholes that are in those builders contracts, because they're not designed to protect you as a buyer at all. Now, there's ways that real estate agents know how to do this by using real estate addendums. In some cases, they're not going to sign, but at least you have to try to get them to sign some of these things. Maybe they'll even meet you in the middle. So that way you don't lose out on your dream new build and have to pay an additional $150,000. I wouldn't want to do that. I do want to let you know, at the end of the article, it did say in the end they couldn't afford the townhouse's new price and they had to exit the contract. Now, I will tell you this, if they had put any money down, there should be a clause within that contract that says that they can get that money back. It's still a lot of time and energy and even money that probably already went into purchasing that house, because he had to pay for appraisals, he had to pay for inspections as the house was being built. That's really heartbreaking, and I don't want that for you. So just make sure that you understand your builder's contracts and make sure you hire a real estate agent that understands those builder contracts. You've seen the series of TikTok videos that I've been putting in this video, and it seems that in Tucson, Arizona, they've had the biggest problem. It says new home builds facing more problems than homeowners are bargaining for. New homes are popping up across Tucson and southern Arizona by numerous proud new homeowners. They are finding several issues with their homes and feel that the builders are acting too slow to address the problems. Meritage denied the severity of this woman's claims and told told the reporter that they stand by its work. It said it fixed all the issues brought to their attention free of charge and under the 1-year warranty. That's why it's really important to have that 1-year warranty. But denied her request for an extended warranty. This woman actually even asked the home builder to buy back their home. And I have actually had that happen here in Louisiana. In the first house I lived in when I moved to Louisiana, their neighbor down the street caused such a stink. I mean, like a total stink about her house. And she was convinced, even though there were structural engineers that went out there, but she was convinced that her house was falling apart and that she wanted to get her money back. She won. That squeaky wheel got the oil. She got them to buy back her house so that they could put it back on the market. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't care. They were putting up as many houses as they could. I don't know why this home builder wouldn't do that. A lot of times these home builders will fix it back up and buy it back from you because they know they could sell it back to the next person for more money than they sold it to the first person because the housing market is so hot right now. Now, another home builder that in this article, it says, just a few doors down, the N4T investigators found Nicholas Creeder, who said his newly built D.R. Horton home has also tons of problems. He said it's been 6 months and it started to notice a bunch of issues, just like that subscriber. It took about 6 months. Creeder hired his own home inspector who said he found some major issues. Creeder said that working with the D.R. Horton customer service was a horrible experience. He also said it took several months, but eventually the company repaired most of the issues under his 1-year warranty. Now that 1-year warranty, like I said, it's usually a bumper to bumper. After that, the other problems fall under like a new home warranty act in your state. Like here in Louisiana, your foundation is secure for 5 years. I don't know what it is in Tucson, Arizona. But I'll tell you another thing that's pretty interesting about his driveway having foundational issues, they said. And they say here like the cracks are normal when it comes to a driveway, unless the crack is about a penny wide, I think is the official measurement. And if they are wider than a penny, then they'll come back and like re-pour the driveway. But unless it's bigger, as big as that, they're not coming back out to fix that. That's on you as a homeowner. But I'm glad that guy was able to get his driveway fixed and his walkway. Nobody wants a crumbled up driveway. And they're expensive to replace. Concrete is not cheap. Now, here's something to consider when you're building a brand new home. I'm sure you've heard the news that a lot of like big equity firms like BlackRock and even like Open Door and Zillow have been buying up a lot of brand new houses throughout the United States. And in many of these cases, they're turning those homes into rental properties. So just say you bought a brand new house in a neighborhood and most of the houses in that neighborhood are now rental units and not single family people that are actually living in the house. Historically, when it comes to renters, they don't take care of a property like an individual homeowner would. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood that has a ton of rental units that could go to the wayside and not being taken care of like it would be for a traditional homeowner. So when you're looking at your new homes in your new subdivisions, ask them at the front desk and see if they'll be honest, and ask them how many of these houses have been sold to investment companies. They won't tell you. Home sales are public records, so you can go ahead and check with your local records to see who's actually purchased those houses. The other thing too is you can ask for a copy of their covenants or their restrictions to see if they have a restriction of how many people can be renters in that neighborhood. That's super important. In some of the neighborhoods here, they'll even have it in the HOA covenants that says only about 10% of the houses can be a rental unit.
Left this house with no AC for a really long time.
Look, the real estate market right now is extremely frustrating. And I know you want a brand new, nice house. And I want you to have that too. Just make sure you do your due diligence. It's one of those times I think it's imperative that you have a good real estate agent. If you don't want to work with a real estate agent, make sure you have a good real estate attorney that can go over that builder's contract like nobody's business. Investigate your builder. And also, if you are working with that real estate agent that's super professional, they'll know the reputation of the builders in the area, and they will tell you if they've had good experiences with previous contracts with those home builders. And they can tell you if their clients have had good experience with that home builder since after they moved in. Now, if you do have problems with your new home build throughout the process as you're building your house, go ahead and check with your real estate agent to see if they know a good real estate attorney. So that way you can put a fire underneath that builder's butt and let them know that you're not going to be putting up their garbage. And another thing, have a home inspector. And if you don't like the home inspector you have, go find find another home inspector. There are hundreds of home inspectors. Find the top rated home inspector in your area. Your real estate agent will know home inspectors, but if you don't trust that process with your real estate agent, you could find your own, and don't have them just inspect the house when it's complete. Have them inspect it when they're pouring the foundation. Have them inspect it when it's framed up. Have them inspect it once the wiring goes in. Have them inspect it once the drywall is up, and then have them go out there once it's complete. Now, I know that can be a big expense. A lot of home inspectors will work with you. They'll have like a new home build package when it comes to inspecting your home all the way through. So you don't have to have that $600 charge each time they go out. But it's wicked imperative, and this is why.
Atlanta firefighter Gavin Kendall and his wife Janelle love their brand new Hampton home. Just one small thing.
This is a 2-car garage. Or is it? Come on. Keep going. And, oh, stop.
This is a Honda Accord.
This is as far as it goes, man.
Yeah, their 2-car garage is more like 1 5/8. What's in the way? How about the 2 water heaters the builder put on the back wall?
And even though that may seem extremely trivial, I don't know about you, but if I bought a house with a 2-car garage, I would be ticked that I wouldn't be able to park my car in the brand new house I just purchased. If they had had a home inspector, they would have been able to measure that out and let them know that that isn't going to work for their cars. I've seen it in so many cases where people are like, I've spent so much money on this house already with the appraisals and everything. They're afraid to get the home inspection, and they think, well, it's new and the county comes out and inspects it. But they are just expecting certain kinds of things with that house. Like, they will check the foundation, but things get missed. And not that we don't want to trust government officials, but things happen. Sometimes people say they went out and inspected it and give them the rubber stamp, and they didn't really do that. That's why it's super imperative that you do have it checked by your own inspector. It's money well spent for peace of mind.
I don't really like going behind other people's work and commenting on it, because I'm sure they do the same thing to me. But this might be the worst tile job I've ever seen. The grout lines are everywhere. They use spacers, but still the grout lines are all different sizes.
Remember earlier I said something about finding out your builder's reputation, and there's the ways you can do it by checking with the Better Business Bureau. But here is a perfect example of why you should do that. There's a popular YouTube family called the Ace family, and they lost over $10 million on their mansion. And you're thinking, oh, poor them. It is poor them, because it's $10 million. Nobody wants to lose that amount of money. YouTube's popular Ace family claims they were scammed by a shady contractor who took millions of dollars from them and abandoned them with an unfinished home and left them unable to get the certificate of occupancy. According to the wife, she had transferred all the money over to this company that was holding it, and she was paying like $70,000 a month to purchase this house while it was being built. And I don't even know really how that works. I guess it's something different that they did. But whenever you're building a brand new house and you're building a custom built house, they should have like 2 or 3 or even 4 draws. So you would have a draw on the payments once they're finished the foundation. You would have a draw on the payments once they put up the framing, and then you would have a draw on the payments like once they have done like the drywall, wiring, and the HVAC system, and then they wouldn't get all of their money until the day of closing or settlement. This family situation is a little kooky. I'm not 100% sure, but they're in the house, but they weren't able to get a occupancy certificate, but they're living in it. Very strange. That would never happen here in Louisiana. You can't move into a house unless you have that certificate of occupancy. I don't know. There's something a little flaky about it, but who am I? I don't know nothing about California laws. I feel really bad for them if that's really the case and if they had a builder that did them wrong like that. So let me know all the things that have happened in 2021 with new home builds. Are you still considering buying a brand new built home? Let me know in the comments section. After watching this video, if you're like, forget it, I'm not buying a brand new house, you may want to consider buying a manufactured home. And if you want to know the real cost of that, you're going to want to click this video right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer. And I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.